Some people say that I'm conceited. They say I walk around like I just don't care. Yeah, because they want to know how is it that I can hold my head up high, especially in these trying times. And yes, sometimes I do cry, but eye to eye, I'm going to face my fears. And I simply tell them, listen, pain is not measured in the tears. You see, the battle was never mine to begin with, so I leave it after giving it to my Father because He's undefeated. See, I'm not special because of my poetry. It's a gift from my Father. He gave it to me now. I know that some of you will stand around, roll your eyes, and suck your teeth, but that's okay, see, because Daddy's going to make a believer out of you yet. So calling me conceited, well, I've been called worse, so save it. But I do like the term divinely favored. Peace. What's up, y'all? My name is Elaine Brown, otherwise known as East Spoken. And I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, but now I make my way in Vallejo, California. So I love the East Coast, West Coast connection thing and believe in it. I want to thank the 100,000 Poets for Change for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. So these first few things that I'm going to do for you comes from a show, what do you know, called Change. This first piece is simply called Just Start. Whew. Slip cast to make sure I fit the mold of what it means to be an African. 100% handcrafted weave basket placed on my head with coal for skin. To any country, in a city, suburban or urban youth today, that's considered foreign because my ways and customs are much different because we identify with being American. So what if I stepped outside the box and drew pictures of white people with dreadlocks? I mean, would I have captured your true essence or would you find that offensive? Listen, when you use those color lines to define a race of people, that equals prejudice. But nevertheless, it has become standard practice in this art industry as talented artists are laid by the wayside because the color of their skin is all that you see. I'm sorry, but throwing a can of black paint against an all-white canvas just doesn't move me, because art should be thought-provoking and spark some sort of forum or debate. So don't tell me how much you love my work and get behind my back and preach hate. Tell me how you may or may not relate to this piece. More importantly, tell me the reasons why. Tell me how it truly makes you feel, and then maybe these figures will no longer be a figment of your imagination. Maybe during the conversation, you and I will start to see things from a different perspective, mend those objectives, and heal. It ain't just art. Okay. So this next piece I'm going to do for you right now is about how we talk to each other, how we relate to each other, and the words we let slide out of our mouths that we can't take back once it's done. Believe you me, I know it. I'm going through it. So this is called substance abuse. Now, I'm not talking about the words that some of you may use and put outside your mouth. I'm talking about the words that you let slide outside your mouth that have been ingrained in you since the time that you were a child. But you're all grown up and part of that now generation where instant gratification comes in the form of a put down. And though it may make you feel good and sound good in that split second, it doesn't really ease your pain nor change your directions. So I think FU is still the #1 drug of choice because manipulation takes too much time and time is too expensive. So here's where we're going to cut the conversation short and get defensive. Answer the questions with a question and throw the ball back in their court, especially when you feel caught off guard. And just when you think life is too hard, here comes karma to remind you that you are not the only ones going through. You got to watch the things that you say and do and put out in this universe, all in the name of being hurt. Listen, kindness will not return to you void unless you destroy it. So watch your mouth. Okay. So this next piece right here, y'all, has to do with marching and who we march for and the reasons that we march. So this is born out of the Trayvon Martins, the Oscar Grants, the Yusef Hawkins of the world, and the thousands of youth who have died in a similar fashion that we don't march for. This is called hypocrite. I heard you talking about your gang and how you would kill and die using your clips. So tell me, would you even be marching if Trayvon Martin was murdered by the hands of the guns of your clique? Chick pow. And now the Zimmerman has been cleared of all the charges. You want to take it to the streets with Reverend Al Sharpton, enraged about his pardon, but I beg your pardon. See, because I saw your pain as you sold Trayvon hoodies and tees. But tell me, how much of this money did his family receive, huh? And not much has changed, because a little over 20 years ago, instead of Trayvon Martin, it was Yusef Hawkins. Killed for the color of his skin and walking. And back then, we were taking it to the streets talking about no justice and no peace and stop the violence. And it was at that point in my life I realized the thousands of youth who cry out in vain because we are silent. Listen, one child that dies from the ignorance of racism and violence is a high profile. So are you going to wait another 20 years or so before you decide that you have had enough? Or are you going to put your guns down and put your hoodies up? Come on, y'all. We got to take care of our youth. Okay.